So, went to a Whataburger recently. No surprise there from a couple of fatties. And, well, I encountered a man that I can only dub Eggs.
Yeah.
Because I will never, if I ever encounter this guy again, I won't remember his face. Because all that was all over that bitch was Eggs, guy. And here's the worst part. We sat down to eat, right? Eggs is at another table. And the worst part is that Eggs is an employee on a break.
Yeah, dude.
So let me elaborate.
I feel like you've already gone into weird details without
yeah, well, really. So let me elaborate here, man. We're chomping down on our feed, right? And I look up and I'm immediately repulsed. But what is fucking crossing across my fucking eyeballs, man? And what is it but this man, what clearly was his break, and he's shoveling eggs into his face. Like, he's about like maybe like an inch or two away from the plate. And you know those people that grab the spoon like the whole handle like that?
Yeah.
He's doing one of them numbers. And he's just going... And dude, they're like, he had kind of like a light goatee situation going. And they're all over. And they're how do you get it outside of the boundaries of your mouth? I don't fucking know. But this guy had just dripping eggs. And you know how you...
Why were they raw?
Well, that's the thing. They were cooked and yet they were like clinging and dripping, guy. And here's the kicker, man. You know, you go to like any restaurant, any fast food restaurant, and you order basically a meal, right? And they give you that meal, which is, you know, a set standard of items. Yeah. This guy literally had just a fucking bowl of eggs. You know those to-go bowls? Yeah. It was just that with a mountain of scrambled eggs. And that boy was just shoveling, guy. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, damn, dude. And of course you try to like turn and look. And I don't know, did you get a glimpse of him?
No, I didn't see eggs.
You were kind of at an odd angle because there was this divider there. But I was like, dude, eggs over here, man. What is that? I was just kind of like fascinated at what is that? You can't even call that a meal, guy. You're just like, are you even tasting? He's just piling eggs in. They're pouring out. There was like little like rivulets of drool connecting him to the egg bowl and shit.
No,
dude,
are you serious?
He was like going at
That's
it.
Gross.
It was so disgusting that I had to peel my eyes away so that I could finish my meal. So after I finish, I'm like, I gotta take a mad dookie, guy. I mean, a mad piss, guy. So I go to the restroom, and my custom is to go to the actual toilet because, you know, I like to sit down while I pee, all right? I've mentioned this before. It just feels great, all right? It feels like I'm evacuating the system 100%. But whatever. I go to take a pee, and there's somebody in the toilet, so I'm like, I guess I have to use the urinal. Here's the thing. Over the last, like, 5 years, I've made a custom of pulling my pants all the way up over my fucking fat-ass gut instead of under it. And this is kind of like a thing that I never used to do. In fact, I kind of hate the egg, as I call it.
I love the egg.
I know you love the egg. You introduced me to the egg in a lot of ways, but I was like, I don't like pulling my pants over my gut, but now I'm used to it. But that also means that I stretch the fucking elastic to its limits. You know what I'm saying? So going to piss at a urinal becomes something of a dicey affair because the elastic's not gonna hold at your ass. It's so used to your massive gut. So you have to kind of do this thing where you're holding your pants up while you're fucking trying to sling the old, in my case, tiny ding out, right? And it's not a fluid affair. Let's just say that it is a fluid affair in one half, but the other half's not fluid. So I'm struggling over there to fucking pee, and then so whatever, you know, I take enough time so that when I get out of the urinal area, I go to wash my hands, and guess who's there? Fucking Eggs. And you know what Eggs is doing? And I guess I gotta give him some credit for that. He's shoveling handfuls of water. Oh, by the way, he stopped up the drain with towels. You know, hand towels. He's shoveling handfuls of water onto his face and pulling out the egg remnants from his like little goatee thing. Like that, right? And he's cleaning his entire face. And he sees me behind him. You know, I'm in the mirror behind him like some sort of specter. And he does not budge, guy. So I guess credit to him because he's more intent on cleaning his stinky egg-ridden face than not. But I stand there just staring at this ritual of madness as he cleanses himself free of fucking eggs, guy.
That's gross.
It was so much eggs. So he finishes and he pulls that's kind of gross now that I think about it. He reaches into the detritus-ridden water, which, by the way, was just eggy water now. And he pulls out the little fucking towels. And, of course, the water drains, but there's egg remnants now.
Come on, guy.
Then he goes to where the towel station, and he's drying his face with the towels. Now I'm left with an egg drain to clean my hands. Not in, but over. And I'm washing my hands. Eggs leaves the restroom, and the guy from the toilet finally comes out of the toilet, and that's just when I'm leaving the basin, the hand washing basin there. Nobody's ever called it that since the 30s.
No.
And I'm drying my hands, and the guy that was in the toilet comes up to wash his hands, and he sees, and I guess assumes that I have left eggs behind, and he audibly goes, "Ah." And I'm just like, I guess, man, I'm gonna take that bump because he's gonna go, "Oh, look, a fat guy. Clearly he left eggs behind."
Yeah.
But you also had some encounters recently.
Well, I went to get a couple boglins.
Mm-hmm. That thing you do.
Yeah, that were on clearance at a GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went up to the this is gonna be a short one.
Mm-hmm.
When I went up to pay for them, the guy was like, he didn't say but he might as well have. He was like, I never thought these were gonna leave my store. Finally, someone bought them. And then I forgot to mention this, but beforehand, he was talking to a guy about his PS5, and because he was buying one, and he was like, you better get that warranty because these boys are known to break down. They're not gonna last. And I was like, what is this selling tactic to shame a customer into submission? Yeah. Like, he was like, it's not gonna last, you better get it. And then the guy was like, nah, I'm good. And he was like, all right, but it's gonna break. and then when I went up, he was like, I never thought these were gonna leave my store. Finally, someone buys them. I was like, what is that? What kind of selling tactic is that?
Yeah, imagine you weren't. He was the manager, by the way.
Yeah.
Imagine you weren't a avid boglin collector.
Yeah,
you just went there and you're like, oh, these kind of look cool. I'll buy them. And this guy goes, they're god awful.
Yeah, they never bought. No one ever buys them.
Yeah, that was terrible. I don't know if you heard this, but yesterday we were coincidentally at a GameStop, and some dude was gonna. Oh wait, yeah, it was the last GameStop we stopped at yesterday. Some dude was gonna buy a console, and I'm not clear as to which, but they were like actively convincing him not to buy it a certain way, and then that he bought it the certain way that I guess he was wanting to. That they weren't gonna accept it back if he did it, right?
Oh yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
And then they were like, "You gotta make sure," because I guess he was buying it for someone else.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure that he wants this one. And the guy clearly did not give a shit.
No.
He was just, I bet you it was just the guy that's like, I'm gonna get this for someone. If they like it, fine. If they don't. Just give me the goddamn thing so I can get out of here. And they're like, you better call that guy and hint at the very least to gauge his fucking reaction. And the guy could not give less of a shit, guy.
Remember, there was also that other guy that he was asking for a console, and they gave him such a convoluted way of getting it.
Oh, he was all confused.
That by the end, he was like, what are you talking about, guy?
He just laughed, guy.
He just laughed, guy. So GameStop is not the best. They don't have the best salesmen.
I feel like they're trying to cover their asses from potential, like, return issues.
Maybe.
But at the same time, people are just going, never mind.
But at the Boglin, there was no reason for that.
Yes, it's literally something that's on clearance.
And he was like,
and he was shaming you.
You piece of shit, why are you buying this? And I was like, why are you playing a guitar, guy?
It's when the other employees broke out their instruments that I was like, all right, that's it.
But interestingly enough, and shameful enough, another place we went to, late, I was wearing my Toxie shirt.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
First, you got to clear up that this place that we're going to reference is one of our haunts. Yeah. It's one of, like, the places we love to go, not just because of the selection, but it's just because they genuinely have, like, some of the coolest staff, and the owner's super badass. Just a really nice guy. So it's not a place where you want to look like a fool. And you were paying for something. I was kind of lingering on the sidelines, and well, go ahead.
Well, she asked me what my shirt was of.
Toxic Avenger.
I was like, it's a movie. And she was like, oh yeah, what kind of movie? And I was like, how do you explain a Troma movie to someone?
That, you know what?
So,
Full credit. That's hard.
So I was kind of like, oh, you know, it's like kind of a comedy, kind of horror-y. It's gruesome, and I kept pushing the gruesome thing, which turns out is not a way to sell a movie. And she was just like, what? Gruesome? I don't get it. Like, wow, how? And I was trying to explain. It was gory. And
you
gruesome.
were leaning into the group part.
I was leaning into it too much, I think.
Yeah.
Gruesome, and she's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that. And I was like, nah, I think you might watch it. You might like it. And then, anyway, eventually my failure to communicate what a Troma movie is led to me just saying hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength for no reason.
Out of the blue, guy.
Out of the blue. And you were passing by.
No, I was hearing.
You were, well, whatever, you were doing something.
I was lingering.
Right, guy? to you, trying to get you to save me.
There was no way to save that guy.
And you did not buy, guy.
Well, there was nothing to bite onto, guy. You gave me fucking air. You know
I literally just said
you just said
hideously deformed creature of superhuman size and strength.
So I said, huh? Toxic Avenger?
Yeah.
I guess. Which, at that point, for the girl, was probably, like, redundant as hell.
Yeah.
So,
I just floundered, guy.
I don't understand how your explanation was working at all.
It wasn't. That's
the
point is, it wasn't working, and I didn't know what to say, so I just went to talk hideously deformed creature of superhuman.
I'm not saying that all this is true for all ladies, but I would say that the majority of ladies aren't particularly Gru fans.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Even like horror ladies, you know, I'm sure there are many of them, of course, encountered a few myself, but the majority of them, the focus is not the Gru most of the time. You know what I'm saying? And this is clearly not a horror lady. And you were like, dude, this is the most grotesque thing you'll ever see.
The thing is, she was obviously curious enough to ask about who this deformed creature was. So I was kind of like, oh, it's gruesome.
Look, I agree that it's hard to explain a Troma movie, but I find that the best way to explain a Troma movie is to try to explain Troma. Like, this is a weird, independent, low-budget movie from this company that's freaking wild. They just do their own thing, and they try to make a superhero movie, and it was this weird
I didn't even say
thing.
Superhero guy. I was just like hideously deformed creature of superhero.
That was your explanation?
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was bad, guy. And it was made all the worse by the fact that, you know, when guys interact with chicks, especially at retail, and we've mentioned this before, I bet you a good percentage of the time the chicks are like, is he trying to hit on me or something? Because this is weird. And she asked the question, is the thing, and still by the end, your floundering must have seemed like, is this guy trying to...
If that's hitting on someone, then that's potatoes.
Well, that's the thing, man. A lot of times that when dudes do hit on these chicks at retail, it's usually god-awful.
True though that may be, I don't think she got that, because I was
hope not. Although I will say that her... you know, voicing the fact that she wasn't gonna watch it is very telling. She's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that."
Yeah, that's a good.
It ended badly, is what I'm getting.
It wasn't good. I'll say that.
So that's a thing. Thoughts? Oh, yesterday we were at Walmart, classic joint of the high class, and. We had just paid, and we were walking into that little kind of area between the registers and the exit door, right? Kind of like a little milling area. And there was just a fucking dude straight up eating out of his McDonald's sack.
Oh, yeah.
And you might be thinking, like, what's wrong with that? Guys, it was fucking busy as hell.
I hate that.
And there was just some schmuck.
Yeah, he was in the middle freaking holding up the joint.
He was, yeah. You know, fudging up the traffic, but he was... Let me see if I got a sack.
I got a sack right here, boy.
He was holding the sack like this.
Yeah.
You know? Like one corner of the sack all wrinkled, and then the thing's all gaping here, and he's like...
Yeah, it was gross.
Like, and this come on, guy.
This was after we had stopped at Wendy's and mourned the loss of the Wendy's 8.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we're mourning and we noticed the fat lard.
He wasn't fat.
He was fat as hell. Wait, the botija?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy eating the McDonald's in the Walmart.
Ah, botija guy.
Yeah.
We had witnessed another idiot doing the same bullshit earlier, and I hated it.
But he's in a restaurant. That makes sense.
It still sucks, dude. So wait till you sit down, you fat lard. Why are you eating in the middle of the damn restaurant?
I'm gonna let him pass.
Nah, homie.
You're telling me that you haven't chawed on something before you sit down?
Never done that.
You've never chewed on something before sitting
Never will I do that.
Never once, guy.
Never.
Not once, guy. We were literally eating fucking chicken balls in our car yesterday.
Yeah, but that's a car. We're already sitting. The fact is, you walk and eat, you're a heathen.
I don't know, guy. I'm gonna give him a pass because he was in a restaurant. What I'm not giving him a pass to is the McDonald's eating schmuck in the middle of Walmart.
It was the same thing. It's just
Walmart's not a restaurant.
But he was next to the McDonald's.
He was okay. The front of Walmart, let's say, is this long. McDonald's is over here. This guy was like in the middle. That's not next to McDonald's.
McDonald's adjacent.
All the way over here? That was like a full restaurant's
width. Wait a minute. It went from here to here.
Well, no. I'm saying like here's this end, here's that end. He was like around the middle. Because we came out here and then had to walk all the way over there.
A little closer to that end.
He's no.
Look, I'm not.
Zillion miles from the restaurant.
I'm not bowing down. No, I'm not what's it called? Excusing him. He's a piece of shit, and I hate him for doing that. I'm just saying Botijas is also in the fault. I hate that.
Wendy's guy eating one stinky fry as he goes to sit.
Dude, he was like.
Okay, he grabbed a little handful and whatever.
Gross.
That's fine. I've seen people do that all the time. People walk and eat all the time.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying it's about location.
His face was shit.
Oh, so you just hate his face?
I hated his face.
Oh, well, that's another thing. I can hate a face.
Point is, don't eat in the middle of a Walmart.
Yeah. Don't do that. Especially if it's mad busy. People are milling around. And you have clearly not bought anything other than a McDonald's sack. And I guess ambulated to the middle. And just
stood there eating.
And then he had this weird Y-leg.
Yeah, dude.
Like his legs were splayed like this. He was wearing like tiny shorts. And like...
Shorts? I thought he was wearing pants.
No, he was wearing shorts. Well, they were like those shorts that are cut from a pant. So maybe that's what. And then he was wearing. They weren't like flip flops, but those kind of like the front half is totally covered, but the back half is a flip flop half. You know what I'm talking about?
In the middle,
like a slipper
too.
In winter here. He's wearing those. A striped shirt, classic.
I don't remember how he looked at all. I just remember his face sucking balls.
He had one of those ratty hats. You know what I'm talking about? Ratty?
Yeah.
And he was eating McDonald's, guy. What is that?
Yeah, it's hateful.
Anyway, I can't get over eggs, guy. I've been thinking about them for a solid month.
Yeah, why?
Who does that? Anyway, that's a thing we did.
Yep.
Yeah, babe.